I'm gonna show you a few Hoya example solves for 5x5, this time only with the cross, because that's the only part that actually matters, but I can actually make the other part too. By other part I of course mean the whole solve. And as usual, we need to start with locating the pieces that we can start with. And we have a lot of green right now. We can also, I guess, imagine, force, pre-select, pre-make some edges. So for example, I can see red here and green is actually here compared to red, and the orange is also here, which is quite useful. So we can immediately insert the orange, having noticed this edge, which might not be the best idea, but still, look ahead is really important on Hoya Cross. We can immediately insert the orange one in its own place. Not like that, but like that, so that the red edge wouldn't be here, and it would have, yeah, what am I even saying? No, there's no way of getting red edge here, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, actually, at this point I realize that doing this is slightly better because we would leave the red edge on top, which is usually preferred. So I'm gonna do that, and we can immediately continue with our green, and we're gonna insert it like that so that this edge would be in a good orientation. At the same time, we can change the orientation of the blue edge. Keep in mind the blue and the red edge, and they can be inserted quite fast afterwards. So we have partially solved orange here, something from red here, and blue here. Inserting that. Usually in these cases it's much easier to insert blue first, but I mean, it depends. We can make some kind of a move so that all of those edges wouldn't be here. F2 is usually not too comfortable in the solutions, so I guess I'll just do F prime, because F feels just run. And we can immediately insert that, and then insert this here. And in those cases, when you have two edges opposite each other, you can insert them immediately, or practically immediately. But it's of course important to know the color, and in this case we have a lucky but nice case that can be done like that, and with a cancellation into inserting the orange edge in its place in the back, thus solving the orange edge, because we remember that the two wings, the two side edges were already solved, as well as the green, so only two pieces are remaining, and we can immediately continue with blue or search for something else. I guess I would insert this one and search for other elements, thus finding these two. In this case, it's really nice to insert something semi-solved back there, but we actually don't have anything. The only semi-solved edge is already in the back, so we're gonna just insert anything back there. I guess like that. Insert this, and we know that the only part left is the red one. And in this case, we can use an alg someone on the Hoya Discord proposed, which is quite nice. And this alg also does not change any of the centers, so we can immediately understand or look ahead into the best way of solving them. So this alg. You can do the D move before starting the center, but I feel it's making the look ahead worse. So we're gonna do that immediately. So I'm not doing FL or like other stuff because of look ahead reasons. I can place this block here and only then put the edge down. Combining them like that. At this point, I would probably put this edge back here so that I can have an immediate start for the edges, because everyone knows that sometimes you can have an abysmal first edge for your last 8 edges. So I would know that I need the last one to be on top, and I can keep I can trace it or keep my eye on it while finishing those centers. And I know that it is here, and actually I'm not sure that I would have found that in solve. It if we leave this edge here or here, it will actually stay in a good orientation in relation to that edge. We can adjust the cross and immediately, why am I explaining the edges? This is not a video about edges, but in this case I can immediately solve this edge, thus seeing this edges and this edge and continuing with a really nice look ahead instead of looking for the edges for a few seconds, and that happened to everyone probably. Second solve, we immediately see red, green, and blue edges, and as usual we need to place as many edges before starting the actual insertions as we could, which is a very unpopular advice. Not really unpopular, but sadly unknown. Yeah, and that's quite easy because we can put the green back in here, the blue here, and we immediately see a few elements all over there. Theoretically, I could have seen this edge, but I did not. I also see this. I can insert it here, but we should keep in mind that we have no idea if that edge or even that edge have any blue pieces, which needs to be checked, I guess. And it's preferable to insert the middle edges before the last wing edge, because it's just a simple insertion and we can see the orange one and we don't really see anything else, and we definitely know that there are more pieces in the cube, so probably some of them are back there. Simple insert like that to force the red one. We can put the orange here because it's still a really nice insertion. We can see that green has nothing. Orange also has nothing. We can, I guess, do something like that and immediately start doing the insertion. So like just getting the edge out of its slot is a bit of a waste of time, but we can do a swift L move to start look ahead into what there is while also doing this stuff. And sadly we created a suboptimal situation, but we are sure that this edge has something, and by something I mean a green. Oh yeah, I forgot to move back this edge because it's green. Yeah, that's important to remember. And because we checked that edge, we are and we are still lacking the last green piece, we're sure that this one is one of them, and we can immediately insert the orange one. Is there a way of inserting it that can force the orange in a better state? Probably. I don't know. That's hard to say. So we can put this one here and then use the same alg for the green one. And again, as I said before, the alg for edges that are in a bad orientation back here preserves the center, so we can immediately look ahead into them. And we have this one. And again, I did not do the L move, so that I can do it while looking ahead into the next pieces. My solutions for last two centers are not optimal, but I guess whatever. Also, the decision of where you would put the last edges, so like FL or F prime R prime or F R prime D prime. So there's a lot of cases, and they can be used to force a better solution, better orientation of the centers, or for other reasons to preserve. For example, if you have solved or nearly solved edge here, you can do F prime R prime instead of FL to leave this edge solved here. But sadly, I'm not that good. I haven't really experimented with the decision of the orientations, so I need to work on that. Yeah. So to solve, we can see red, green, orange, and also I've noticed that this is blue. So we can start with simple insertions of our edges before actually starting the Hoya cross. And while doing that, while doing that, you should keep an eye on the back slots, or even force some good edges for those back slots. For example, here we can start with different edges. For example, start with red, but in that case, we will leave the blue edge back there, and we really don't have a way of having an empty slot back there. Of course, we can remember that that edge is back there, which is almost as good as not having it there, but it's better to have something empty. So we can start with blue, not because this is a blue center, because we have blue, red, and green, and those three places are for them. Also, I could have seen that this is orange and started with D2, but I'm not going to do that. So we can start with blue, leaving an empty edge, non-white edge back there. And then we can continue with red here, either by doing U F2, or even better would be to do U from this angle, U to D prime, to put it back there, because L2 and R2 moves are much faster than F2 moves. And it's also quite an important aspect of Hoya, but we still need to pay attention to the back slot. And though we have an empty edge here, so it does not matter, and we actually got our orange edge from there, and an orange edge here. We can start with green, because I know all three pieces are here. I guess I have a choice to start with this edge or this edge. I probably will start with this by inserting both of them at the same time, like that, so the cancellation into that insertion. And then immediately do an L prime to insert this edge, and we can do an L afterwards. We have a red midge up here and an orange here. And here we can actually put that midge back there and set up to an orange cross, because this edge is bad, but by inserting this edge we also made this one better. We can immediately insert that back here, noticing the what's it called, the color of this one. Here we can theoretically do like that to change its orientation, which is better than doing that, I guess. Like, yeah, that's oops, yeah, I'm not sure what there. Yeah, so it's pretty good. We have blue and red in front of us. We cannot really do anything about the red, though I also can see that the center is almost solved. And that's okay. I probably wouldn't do that in a solve, but that's a bit of a funny idea. We can put the red up here and insert it like that. Also almost creating a full what's it called, a full center, but that's not the funny idea I had. The funny idea was to actually do that and already create the situation, but in that case it would have been better to force it into the red one, and it's an example of a quite a complicated idea in Hoya that requires a lot of thought to be useful, but we can solve the cross as the center, so that not all of the edges would be solved, and set up to a commutator, either not necessarily a commutator, either this alg that does not disturb the centers, or we can set up to an actual commutator like here, which can be done really fast and does not affect the centers. And yeah, something like that. Fourth solve, we see a lot of white edges in front of us, but nothing too interesting. Actually, I see a lot of wings, but I don't see orange ones, and I can riskily check these two, because in case those are orange, that's a really big save for us. they are partially orange, and we can actually start with something interesting. We can combine them like that and immediately insert them down here. Of course, the blue one will be with them, but we can just get it out while inserting the orange one, so who cares? And as I said, inserting the largest amount of edges as we can. Before that, we have red and green here, also with a green, but who cares? We have some edge here that we can put in a better position because we'll put a red one here. We have the green one here and immediately can, so like a bit of a TPS spam, insert this one here and then the red one down there. And while we're doing that, we can look on top for something interesting. We can see the this edge, and sadly we, oops, what did I just do? Oh yeah, we just found this green. I'm pretty sure we took out the red one from here, and this is a different one, so we can insert. I'm not a fan of those inserts, but we can do a sledge and then insert it like that, put in the blue one back there. And that would have been a good idea if we had other two blue pieces solved, but we don't. And in that case, we can simply do this, creating an empty edge here without whites, because we know, we actually don't, but we could have known that this edge is free. Then insert the red one, and all that is left is two blue pieces, and they are all probably here, but we need two of them, so... Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, so because we cannot see any blue pieces, any white pieces from here, we know that they are white back there because of deduction, because no other piece can have white. So we can insert the blue one here with the alk, getting the orange one on top. And set up in doing a setup to a commutator, and again, because we have a commutator, we can predict what we will have next, because we have this commutator, so like insert and insert back, or we could have theoretically inserted in a different way, for example like that, and that doesn't sound great. So we can just go like that and start inserting all of this. I'm not sure how to solve it properly. I probably would just do that. That's a lot of moves, but who cares? I'm not a 5x5 solver. That was a false solve. Fifth, last solve, we can immediately see a lot of white edges in front of us, green to solved green edges, red one here, two red ones here, and I can immediately see how to solve all three of them, and we can put this one here in relation to the green one. I guess we can put this empty one down here to make sure that nothing bad is here. It's at least here, but that's not a good idea, especially considering there's something useful. Something useful is actually here. So we have put this here, and now we can insert this first and then this, and we will have an orange in an easy position for us, and we have a different orange, and now we can move the orange place in front of us. And actually there's what's it called, a midge, so otherwise we could have just done an F prime and inserted this. We can still do that though inserting this edge first with wide moves, but we can also do this, forcing a blue edge into a slightly better position, inserting the orange one next, and the blue, we don't see anything else, so we need to solve the blue one. We can see that there's literally nothing, and in this case that's pretty interesting. I remember that two of those edges are solved here, and I can insert blue not like that, but like that. Oops, I mean like that, so that the green would be on top, and we can insert it into the back with M. And now we still need two more edges, and I have no idea where they are. Those are not white and not blue edges, so definitely right here, and I can see that both blues are here, and we can, that's not exactly realistic, at least at my level, to do that, but we can do that and insert both of them, and now we can just solve the last elements, the last centers. Again, I'm not that great with them. Oh, I can see the almost solved edge, and I can put it in here so that it can be in a easy place to be solved, and I can immediately continue with finding the midge of that. And I guess that's the end. Bye.